So I'm going to get into talking about domestic violence and how it should be dealt with, since society does absolutely nothing about it. This is the way it should be dealt with. Now I'm going to get into stabbings. I will get into in Thanksgiving of 2015. My friend stabbed me. The circumstances was he was an elderly, and he just wanted to buy pot, and this little kid started buying crack. So then all of a sudden his apartment got taken over by crackheads. That was his fault. So the thing that provoked him to stab me in the heart, and it was Thanksgiving. It was just like a day before Thanksgiving, like unreal. That it was like, wait, Thanksgiving Eve. Okay. Because I supposedly provoked him, but his mindset was this little kid is everything, and he's trying to get him to go to Jesus. Yeah, you don't do that if you even bother. Like, why would you do that? But that's his excuse with this little kid. I don't know, maybe he wanted a son or something. He made this little kid his son. He knows the complications that went on in his weirdo little head. But, I said, that kid ruined your life, bringing in the crackheads that won't leave. Okay. He stabbed me in the heart. Now, unfortunately, I was drinking. I did not realize the damage that was done. Now, it was a good hit because it was just straight down. So it wasn't a piercing. It was straight down. But still, the attempt was to stab me in the heart. Very bad. Okay. That domestic violence act should have cost at least $5,000. Okay. So I'm just saying an attempt near the heart. Okay. $5,000. He automatically, instead of like housing there's super, super crazy people walking all around, and I knew about 10 insane narcissists that could have killed me. Okay. So, hey, you know what? Who cares if they're in jail or not? But you physically make that. Oh, there are jails for the domestic violence people who can't pay back their fines, and this is the way the fines should be dealt with. Back in 2015, insane person tries to attempt. So the lousy attempt itself, maybe if it was piercing, maybe more of a fine, but the lousy attempt, oh, who knows what? It just ended up that the knife went downwards and near my heart. Okay, I would have died if it was this way. Okay, $5,000 at least. That white trash can't pay the $5,000. So the state pays me, then pays the state, plus fines, plus the hospital bills. Okay, so he pays maybe $10,000, plus my hospital bills. No questions asked. You shouldn't have done the act. Pay for her hospital bill. Pay for, your domestic violence and the paperwork with the police. So, $10,000 fine. You can't pay that $10,000 fine. You're not, doing good on that fine. However they make the arrangements to pay for it, then you go to jail. Okay, that's what jails would be for. You can't pay domestic violence fines, then that's how it should be dealt with, since they do nothing. Nothing is done at all in society about domestic violence, and that's how it should be dealt with. Now, the more severe attempts of killing would be throat with a knife or eye with a knife. Okay. I guess anywhere where it's like a vital point. Okay, so let's just go with the jugular vein. That's that. A jugular vein and the eye. If if you survive that, okay, if the victim survives that, automatically, domestic violent person after that person with the knife in the eye, in the jugular vein, okay, and they survive, $10,000 goes to the victim from the state. The domestic violent perpetrator pays that $10,000 fine, plus hospital bills, plus police paperwork. So that could be $15,000 or more. Just as simple as that. Alright, now we get into less domestic violent stabs, legs, shoulders, arms, somewhere, where it's not going to kill you. Right here. Okay. Alright. That could be taken down to 3,000. It's still a violent act. They could, the crazy person could stab you several times. Yeah, you're not allowed to stab someone with a sharp object. Alright. If that's done. Domestic violence. Alright. 3,000. Same thing. Pay for the hospital bill. Pay for the police paperwork. It's as simple as that. That's the way domestic violence should be taken care of. Now we go back with Lorraine Bobbitt. Alright. She was majorly abused. Domestic violence 4 or 5 years. Okay, so she's raped for 5 years. She is beat up for 5 years. That's horrific. Her violent abuse. Alright. Automatically, she would get from whatever the hell Mr. Bobbitt's name is, 500,000. Yeah, $500,000 automatically, or more. You're talking 5 years. Okay, 5 years, almost every day. Maybe she spent a little bit of time with her mom every day. Then she has to come back to his hell every day. 5 years. My God. So give that girl like $500,000. Mr. Bobbitt would be subjected to pay that, plus the hospital bills, if there are any, from her going to the hospital. And I'm talking about after she did her cutting off. Shit, it doesn't matter. He raped and beat her up, and verbally abused her, brainwashing her, called gaslighting for 5 years. I could care less how she defended herself after 5 years of that. Doesn't matter how she defended herself. It's what he did to her. She automatically gets $500,000. He has to pay. Who cares that she finally defended herself? Whatever she did, and everyone knows what she did. Okay. She gets not only the $5 million, he pays for whatever hospital bills that he caused, and from the 5 years, and also he has to pay for the police paperwork. And that's the way it should be. And then if Mr. Bobbitt cannot pay the fine to Lorraine Bobbitt, then he goes to jail. And who knows, the time frame. Okay, give him like a month to try to pay for the first $100 that month. Okay, if he's like out and living in the street, I don't know what the lowest payment would be for $500,000, but okay, let's just say it's he almost killed her like several times, so who cares? Let's say his fine is, no matter what, and then he has to hustle in the street, $100 every month. Okay, let's just put it there. And then if Mr. Bobbitt doesn't go through paying one payment in 6 months, if we know where Mr. Bobbitt is, if we can find him, then he gets put in jail. So jail time is for the domestic violent people who do not pay their fines. And that's the way our system should be set up. And that would be an excellent way for it to be set up for domestic violence.